All right, welcome back, everybody. Dirty Water, Coins and Collectibles. We have a penny hunt here, and I've been waiting to do this one for a few days now. Hopefully you guys have been waiting for this one too. And if you notice here on roll 15, we have Indian head, I think. So let's get into this hunt, and we'll probably try to do a live opening on roll 15. As always, I ask you that you'd please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button. It helps out the video get views, helps out the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. So let's try to get into roll 1 here, and I'll bring you back in when we find something. All right, so I just finished up roll 1. I have a 1962 Denver under the scope. Funny thing is that, I don't know, I'd say a good 50% of the coins in this roll were Denver mints, which is out of the ordinary for my area. It may be a good thing. I'd be able to hunt for repunch mint marks if I get any older coins, which I'm hoping I do with that Indian head ender. But I did notice that a lot of the coins, I should say a lot of the rolls, have shield ends. So we may have a mixed batch here, but I'm bringing you in for this one. We have a lamination error on the 1962D. So I thought that was kind of cool. You can kind of see the separation here, which is a mixture problem with the alloys. So the coin is starting to separate in this particular area. All right, let's get into roll 2. I'll bring you back in on our next find. Roll 3, and we have our second find. It's a 2009 Presidency. I have not flipped it over yet, so I'm not sure if it's a Philly or a Denver. So let's find out. 2009 Philly. That's in great shape. All right, so I'll put this one aside, keep hunting, bring you in on our next find. I have not found a single weedy yet, but rest assured when I do, I will bring you in. All right, till then. All right, here we go. Roll 4, and we have our first weedy. 1949 out of Denver. So let's get this one under the scope, see if we have any kind of mint mark variety. And I don't see anything. We'll slide it around the scope here, see if we have any kind of doubling, anything like that. Maybe any kind of die cracks or die chips. I don't see anything. I'm trying to talk here because my wife has music playing in the background to help her fall asleep. All right, I don't see anything. Bring you back in on our next find. Roll 7 is going to give us our first foreign out of Canada. We have a 1980. All right, I'm kind of surprised with these rolls because they're mainly, the majority of them are shield scents, and most of those are out of Denver. So it doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of wheats, but I am looking for varieties, anything out of the ordinary. And if I do find anything, I will bring you in for it. So let's get into roll 8. And as I just said, I'll bring you in for any of our finds. All right, we're on roll 11 of this lukewarm penny hunt. And we have our next low mintage 2009 Lincoln cent. It's going to be the formative years. I'm going to put this one under the scope to see if there's a variety. From here it doesn't look like it, but let's check anyway. I'm not seeing anything. I can check the log too. If there's, it doesn't look like anything is missing here. Sometimes this is abraded away, so it looks like he's kind of sitting on air. But clearly that's not this one. But it's still a find. So we'll put this aside. Actually a nice shape too. Kind of like the presidential one. Like I said, I'll put it aside. We'll get into roll 12 if there's nothing else in roll 11. And I'll bring you in our next find. Hopefully it's before that Indian head, but possibly not. See you then. Alright, we're on roll 12, and the foreign finds are beating out the Wheaties. We have our next Canadian, and it's a 1974. So I'll keep going on this hunt, bring it back in on the next find. Alright, roll 14, one roll away from the cliffhanger ender. And of course, we have another Canadian. I think that puts us at 3 for a 1970. All right, and right here we have another presidential. I did not flip this one over yet. Oh, 2009D. All right, I'll finish out this roll. I didn't see any wheats. If I do find anything else, I'll bring you in. And then for roll 15, I'm going to set the camera up on a tripod, and then we'll do a live reveal on that one. So if I don't find anything here, I'll see you on roll 15. All right, well, here we are, roll 15, and our lukewarm scent hunt. Let's just open this one up, see what we got in here. The other side. Oh, yikes. Here it is here. And that's that side. Can't even see anything. I don't know what this is. All that build up for nothing. What's going on here with this camera? Zoom maybe? This thing is beat up. Holy smokes. Alright, well, let me see if I can get an image off of this at all. I'll bring you back in if I find anything else in this roll. That's disappointing, huh? Alright, well, I'll bring you back in if I find anything else. Alright, we're still on roll 15 of what appears to be our Canadian hunt. This is our 4th. And we have a 1968. This wheat, if it is an Indian, looks like it had a shield at the top at one point. But I can't make anything else on this. I don't see anything that's readable, which is very disappointing. I had my hopes up for this one. But it's an Indian head, I think. I doubt it was an eagle, flying eagle, but who knows. But we do have another foreign, and I'll bring you back in on our next find. Wah, wah, wah. Roll number 17, and yet another Canadian. We got a young head, 1962. That's not bad. It's in pretty decent shape. Copper. I don't see anything that's jumping out at me in this roll, but if I do come across anything, I will bring you in for it. Roll 21, and we have another Canadian. 1972 Laureate portrait. All right, we'll continue on this roll. Bring you back in if we find anything else. Still on roll 21, another Canadian. 1984. All right, we'll keep going. Bring you back in on our next find. Roll 24, and we have our second wheat cent. 1957 out of Denver. Let's put it under the scope, see if there's any variety. I'm not seeing anything. Check for any kind of die cracks or die chips, pre-cuds. Drop letters. I'm not seeing anything. All right, I'll bring you back in on our next find. Roll 25, and we have our third wheat cent. 1951. Bring you back in if there's anything else in this roll. Still on roll 25, and Canada makes another appearance. 1980. All right, bring you back in if we find anything else. Roll 27, and we have another Canadian. 1976 Laureate portrait. All right, continue on this roll and bring it back in if we find anything else. Roll 28, and we have our next find. Low mintage 2009. This is a Denver mint, and looking through the roll, you'll never guess what we have. Yep, another Canadian. 1966 Laureate portrait. All right, let me continue on our Canadian hunt, and I'll bring you back in on our next find. Roll 29, and we might have something promising here. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. We have a 1920 Philly wheat cent. Awesome. I think that's our fourth for the hunt. Let me keep hunting this roll. I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, we're on roll 30, and we have our first double die find. I have a 2019 under the scope, and we have our first WDDO number 13, kind of like the 2015 and that 2014 I've shown you. You got the thickness in the 2, that thickness in the 0, thickness in the 9. You can see some notching up in here. Not a ton of thickness in Liberty or In God We Trust. But this particular variety has a die crack near the O and 1, which you can see right here. So That's a good find. So I'll put this one aside and I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, still on roll 30, and we're blessed with yet another Canadian. Young head. And it's a commemorative 1992. All right, I'll see you on our next find. Roll 31, and I'm just bringing you in for kind of like an oddity find. This was probably moisture, maybe some heat, but the coloring's just pretty cool, so brought you in to show you that. All right, keep on roll 31. I'll bring you back in if we find anything else. Roll 33, and we have our next 2009 birth years, I believe. All right, let me finish in on this roll. I'll bring you back in if we find anything else. Roll 35, and we have another 2009. This one is from Denver and presidential. All right, let's put this one aside. I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, roll 38, and we have, where is she? Right there, we got a Wheatie. What is it? 1946 out of Philly. All right, we'll put this one aside. Continue hunting this roll. I'll bring you back in on our next find. Still on roll 37, and we have our next Wheatie. Could we catch up to the Canadians? I don't know. 1958 Philly. All right, I'll bring you back in if we find anything else. All right, same roll. Roll 37, and we have a 1953 out of Denver. We'll put this one under the scope, see if we have anything out of the ordinary. I don't see anything there. Not there. Not there. Nothing much there. Let's check the reverse. It looks pretty normal to me. All right, bring it back in on our next find. All right, still on roll 37, and we have another 2009 out of Denver. Looks like a stunner. Let's see what we got. Another birth year. All right, we'll put this one aside with the other 2009s, and I'll bring you back in on our next find. Roll 38, and we have another 2009 out of Philly, presidential. This box has been really good for the 2009s. I hardly ever find 2009s, so I mean that's worth it alone. We did pick up a little bit on the wheats and that I think Indian head. So let's keep at it. I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, roll 39, and we have our next Canadian, 1982 Laureate portrait. I'll bring you back in on our next find. Roll 40, and we have another 2009, and this is not that nice. Out of Philly, presidential. So we'll put this one aside. I'll bring you back in when we find something else. Roll 44, and we have another Canadian. Got a young head. 1960. All right, still got a whole roll to hunt, and I'll bring you in if I find anything. All right, we're on roll 44. I have 1997D under the scope. These two spots here, they look like a strike through, which I'm not 100% sure, only because of what else is going on this coin. But you can see in these areas here, they both look almost the same, but there's no raised metal. So I'm not sure if this is a strike through or not. It looks like a typical strike through, but I'm not 100% sure because there is damage on the coin. I did flip the coin over and there's a weird, like an impact spot right here. It looks like almost like shattered glass. I don't know if you can see that, but all in here there's cracks. I've never seen that on a coin before. You can see that there. It's kind of strange. That's a first for me. Let me know down in the comments if any of you guys think that obverse might be, by the date, could be a strike through. I know the other stuff is damage. And if anybody's ever found like an impact spot like this on a coin, I'm kind of curious to know if anybody else has seen anything like this. All right, let's keep up with the hunt, and I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, we're on roll 45, second coin into the roll, and we have another 2009, another one that's in really nice shape, presidential. I still can't believe I found this many 2009s in one box. All right, we'll keep up the hunt. I'll bring you back in on our next find. I'm on roll 45, and I have a 1972 Philly under the scope. I can't tell if this one's a double die. There's so many of them. And this one doesn't have like the standout characteristics, but there is a little notch right there. The 2 does look a little thicker. The 9 looks a little thicker north. Liberty, the B, the E, the R look a little different. I know I see this on most of the 1972s, but it looks a little different. In God has a little bit of doubling. We, and then trust. So I can't really tell on this one, but the reason really why I pulled it aside is just of the condition of it is really, really nice. So I just held this one aside, mainly because of the condition. But let's keep at this hunt. I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, roll 46, and we are just racking up these Canadians. 2001 Laureate portrait, and I got some music in the background. Looks like we have another Canadian right here, a 1983. So I'll continue on this hunt, and I'll bring you back in when we find something else. All right, we're on roll 48, and I have a 2017 P under the scope, and we have a little bit of a die clash here. You can see it under his nose, to the east of the nose, a little bit under the chin, the start of the U in unum right here by his bow tie, and a little bit more lines in the shield behind his neck. So that's a cool little find. We'll pull this one aside and continue on the hunt. Roll number 49. So we got one more roll left after this. But we have another 2009 low mintage birth ears. Another one that's in decent shape. All right, continue on the hunt. I'll bring you back in on our next find. All right, roll 50 surprised us with a parting gift. We have a 1952 Denver, it looks like. Not bad. All right, let's see anything out of the ordinary under the scope. Very dirty. Doesn't appear to be anything very dirty. But we ended with a wheat scent. I didn't see any more Canadians in there. I'd hate to end it on a Canadian, but if we did, maybe it'd be a King George, but I don't see anything in there. All right, so one final wheat scent of the hunt. I'll put this one away. There's only 5 coins left. I don't see anything there. So I'll bring you back in on the wrap up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. 50 rolls hunted. Overall, not a terrible hunt. I mean, I was disappointed. I thought that Indian head would at least have something on the obverse to see, but all in all, it could have been worse. So let's check out our finds. We have a bunch of Canadians, a 1960, a 62, 66, a 1968, 1970, 1972, 1974, 1976, 2 1980s, a 1982, 1983, 1984, 1992 commemorative, 2001. Then we had our oddities, this 2019D, some odd toning. I'll toss this one back. I just thought it was cool to look at. Our 1997D with those strike through marks in that looks like cracked glass on the reverse. This nice 1972. And under that we have our 2019 DDO and our 2017 P Clash die. Below that we have all of our 2009s. So we have the birth years. I think I had 2 Phillies, 1 Denver. I forget what this one's called. I don't remember what this one's called, but I have a Philly and a Denver. I think this is the professional life. A few Phillies and a couple Denvers. And then the presidential, a Philly and a Denver. And then if we go over here, I had pulled some S-mints. I think 2 1968 S's, a 1969 S, which is not the DDO, obviously. Looks like 3 1971 S's, a 1972 S, 1973 S, and 2 1974 S's. And then the bottom row, we have that 1920 out of Philadelphia wheat scent, 1946 out of Philadelphia, 1949 out of Denver, 1951 out of Philly, 1952 out of Denver, 1953 out of Denver, 1957 D, 1958 Philly, and then I still think it's the best find, but unfortunate that we couldn't really get much off of it. And when I say much, I really mean nothing. Really disappointing, but still cool all at the same time. I just don't see anything on there that could tell us what this is. I don't see. I can even make out where the head would be if, I don't know. I mean, this thing's destroyed, but still a good find. All right, so I think that's maybe the crown over here. Not the crown, but the headdress. But that's our hunt. So I hope you liked it. If so, I ask that you please hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and hit that like button. It helps the video get views and helps out the channel. And until the next hunt, bye!